Hi, are you thinking about buying a 3D printer? Are you not sure if it's worth it? Is it actually useful for ordinary people to have one? Well, I was really surprised after a few months of having a 3D printer how many household issues it can actually help to solve. I'll show you several of my small projects just in a few seconds, so make sure you watch till the end. I've had it for a few years, and at some point I noticed that one of the parts is missing. It's this nut, and when tightened it prevents the holding clamp from rotating freely. Without it, the tripod is almost useless because the camera always wants to turn somewhere. So what can be done? Well, the first option is to throw the old tripod away and to buy a new one, but this is expensive and you also need to wait until it's delivered or to go to the store directly. Second option is to try to find an appropriate nut in a hardware store. Unfortunately, standard camera thread is a 1/4 inch, so if you don't live in North America, it won't be as easy as going to the nearest store around the corner. So you probably would need to order this online, and this again means waiting. Third option is to print a replacement. The cool thing is that you don't have to model a thread. Since it's not a heavy-duty part, if you make a hole just a little smaller than the thread diameter, it will screw on just fine. But the coolest part is that it took me under 20 minutes, less than 10 minutes of modeling and around 10 minutes of printing. So I have a functional tripod in under 20 minutes without even going out. When I moved into the apartment, I discovered that the bottle shelf on my fridge door was cracked and some action was needed because it was not holding weight properly. At first, I ordered a replacement shelf for 30 euros, but guess what? When it arrived, it was damaged during the delivery and so I had to send it back. So looking at how this is damaged and what parts remain intact, I took the measurements of my shelf and this stop on the door, modeled and printed this part and a small badge to press it against the side. And again, under an hour of work in total without going out and the problem permanently solved. By the way, if you want more videos like this on the channel, please give this video a like and consider subscribing. And while we are in the kitchen zone, here is another cool thing. When we moved in, we already had our trash bins from IKEA, and here was this one. You can see it's a bit smaller, and this shelf was also lower, and our IKEA bins didn't fit under it. So there are multiple ways of solving this. For example, you can buy new bins and throw the old ones away, or you can drill new holes and put the shelf a little higher. But I was terrified by this idea that I had to crawl inside, take some precision measurements and then drill 4 holes at level, so I procrastinated for a few weeks. I modeled this funny looking thing that was supposed to replace the original resting pins. This goes inside the original holes for the pins, and this provides a surface for the shelf to rest on, just high enough for our pins to go in there. I have this nice round transformable table that has 2 extension panels with it, and some tables have space for them inside, but my table can't accommodate them. So at some point I decided to store them vertically in a closet. For them not to injure me at some point, I need some means for securing them inside, yet being able to remove them easily. So this is the solution I came to. I printed a bendable catch that prevents the panel from moving forward. You can easily press it upwards and release the panel when you need it. And I have a second one for the second panel. So these are my 4 small household projects that happened just within the first few months after I started using my 3D printer. In my opinion, a 3D printer gives you speed and a degree of freedom on deciding how you could approach such small challenges that constantly arise around you. So what do you think? Is the initial investment in a 3D printer worth it in the long run? Tell me in the comments down below, and see you next time.